Welcome back to the Stoop football fans. It's your boy Lolo, and I'm back in the basement for another Friday night happy hour. Happy Thanksgiving to all of our people who might celebrate that. Big cheers to you all. Let's hear it. Yeah, cheers.
Yeah, a little water tonight. You killed me last night.
Yeah, for real. Tell me about it. And I got my buddy Omi over here from Puerto Rico in the house, sitting in here. He's a little shy. He's a Liverpool fan, but we're gonna get into Liverpool in a minute.
He's a shipwrecked Mexican. Is that what Lolo calls him?
Shipwrecked Mexican, as Lawler calls it. I think it's if anybody gets offended by that, that was Director John who said that, and not me. Here's a little clip from last night. Mark and I celebrating Thanksgiving. What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Lolo, Spawny Mark.
Right here on a Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. We are very thankful for you all. We are thankful for this bird. And let's get that slice. Get in there close, because I want you to hear if it's crunchy. Oh,
Don't cut your fingers, man.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody from Brooklyn.
And we don't need VAR to tell us to have a good time.
Nope. Let's get to it. Yum. All right. What's going on? Play it again. All right, so happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Football is back. We have Premier League action in 12 hours. 12 and a half hours. We got kickoff for Man City, Liverpool. That's a huge match. I don't know how that is the first one of the day. I guess so they can be playing without any other matches going on, but you would think they would save that for the end of the day. Klopp is a little upset about that, but when is he not upset about everything? We got to watch Leeds United today, so I'm excited. I actually watched a Leeds United match, and they scored in the 7th minute, 8th minute, with a beautiful goal from Somerville. And then just went to sleep for the rest of the match. Went to sleep for the last minute or two of the first half and gave up the equalizer and then couldn't do anything. So Mr. Tom says it's because the early kickoff is prime time in Thailand. And I guess that's Man City's best... I don't know, their supporters. That's where their biggest supporters are. So let's get to it. Let's bring on my lovely co-host. You know him, you love him, the only living Wolves fan in New York, Mr. Mark.
What's going on, everybody? I had an absolute blast last night at Thanksgiving, and I just want to tell the world how much that I appreciate you and everyone else that was that participated, that was there to share in the moment. It was a good time, and I hope that each and every one of you out there watching has the kind of family that I do, because I felt really blessed yesterday.
Well, cheers to you, Mark. We were happy to have you and Omi and his family in, and everybody else who was there. We've got some news here. Jimmy is in the house, a member for 31 months. Gotta love that. Pincushion, 21 months. Great to see you guys on there getting your little bit of recognition from us, from our YouTube channel here. But we love you guys. So we actually saw some Leeds United. We have Leeds United fans in the comment section. Why don't we kick off starting with some Leeds United? Mark, what do you think?
Yeah, man, I was very happy to get to watch it. I had a little trouble logging into the game, so I missed Somerville's goal, and unfortunately, in the broadcast that I was watching, they didn't re-show it. But from what I read in the Twitter sphere or the X sphere and in Facebook, that it was a real howler. So.
It was beautiful.
But man, I didn't think Leeds played that bad as maybe how you pointed out, saying that they were, that they kind of went to sleep, because I think it almost reminded me of the Wolves, how they just had these great opportunities and couldn't finish. But to me, this was a game of a team that was fighting hard to not be dropped down to, what is it, League One? Is that what comes after Championship? So fighting hard not to be put down into League One versus a team that felt like it was pretty comfortable in, I think it's the 3rd spot, even though that's a playoff spot. I've heard from a lot of Leeds fans through the various social networks that they prefer that Leeds fights for a promotion through a playoff rather than to win it outright, because they feel they have a better chance that way. I'm not really sure how that works, but what do I know?
Well,
I think that's fan.
I think that's because Leicester are kind of bullying the league right now, and it's like, you know what? Let's not concern ourselves with Leicester, even though Leicester and Ipswich Town are tied on 39 points, and Leeds
Right.
United are only 7 points behind that. One more game played, of course, but I think that's probably why they've got that attitude of like, look, don't worry about winning the league and getting straight up. We can do it through the playoffs. But you know what, Mark, as much as you and I know from one game, why don't we bring on the man who knows more than all of us? There he is, Mr. Tom, wearing the Leeds kit that they were wearing today, right? That was the one they were, no,
this last
blue
year's
at
one.
least.
Yep.
They were wearing blue. All right,
Speaking
Mr.
of
Tom.
that kit, if I may really quick, that kit is dope with the peacock feathers on it. I really like that kit. I might even think about buying it.
Oh, we got a Twitch fan here saying Viva Rotherham. How do you say that, Tom?
Rotherham.
Rotherham?
Yeah, no, obviously it's spelled Rotherham, but it's said Rotherham.
You say Viva.
Yeah.
It's pronounced Viva.
Shut up. Oh my God. This guy, he's not even drinking. But yeah, so what happened in that match?
Yet.
What happened in that match, Tom? Did you guys go to sleep? What, you never woke up?
Personally, I'm angry at the team because it felt like, especially after they went 1-0 up, it felt like they thought the job was done at 1-0, and they just only then had to just pass the ball around Rotherham for the next 82 minutes or whatever it was, and it just wasn't good. Don't get me wrong, in the first half, we were by far, if you said Rotherham were in the game, you'd be lying. But the reality is, if you said Leeds deserve to win the game, you're also probably lying, because we didn't lay enough gloves on them in the second half, quite frankly, due to boxing analogy. I'm just furious with them because all the hard work you put in at Leicester rendered pointless. Well, not pointless, you know what I mean. Like, putting your best performance in years at Leicester, and then you turn up at Rotherham as if like you only had to turn up to win. Not good enough.
Yeah. Well, there's something, Mark has a point in what he was saying, and I was actually thinking about it during the match, towards the end of the match. And I was thinking, these are the types of matches where at the end of the season, you look at your run of games, and if you're looking at bottom of the table teams in your run out versus mid-table teams, you would definitely want to be playing those mid-table teams as opposed to the bottom of the table teams. And right now, even though it's very early in the season, Mark's totally right. Rotherham are fighting for their lives already. And so you saw that the longer it remained 1-0, the more they were thinking, okay, let's just nick a goal here. And they did right at the death of the first half.
Atrocious. The goal was embarrassing.
Absolutely atrocious.
It was a comedy of errors. I thought it was really impressive of Daniel Farke to replace the back four in the 45th minute with a bunch of clowns, because that's how we defended, like an absolute bunch of clowns. It was disgusting. I always thought if you're in a situation, you put your foot through the ball and you put it in the stand or down the other end of the pitch, there was 1 minute stoppage time. There's only so much time it takes them to bring the ball back, and then you do it again. Like, why are you trying to play the ball out like your 1970s Brazil in 45+1 of a game?
Right. What killed me the most was the fact that Leeds United had 3 opportunities to defend that ball, and all 3 defenders, Rondon, Gray, and I think it was Ampadu, and they just it was just like I don't know what they expected. I don't know what they were hoping for. They obviously didn't get it, and it was a we've all seen very, very poor defensive series, but that's got to rank up there. That was just so poor.
If it wasn't my own team, you'd laugh at it. You'd be like, you'd just find it hilarious.
Absolutely.
You couldn't get the ball at, but not good enough. What I find really disappointing about it as a whole is I didn't feel the urgency from the team when it went 1-1, and basically we had Rotherham literally where we were in the best possible position when you want a team like you're the away team. Their fans are silent, and every time they got the ball, and we forced them via pressing to move the ball backwards, their fans were getting pissed off because they were like, why aren't you going forwards? And obviously their players are like, well, we can't go forwards, otherwise we'd lose possession or whatever. And the second they scored, that changed. And then their fans were like, oh, we actually have a chance in this.
Mm-hmm.
And then we were like, we got scared. And people could say, oh, you still had the ball. But Rotherham were happy to let us have the ball because they had their 6 defenders. Then they had their 3 defenders in front of them. And then probably like the loose one that would run up when they boot the ball out or whatever. But just not good enough on whole.
Yeah.
And if you look, and there are people who are going to say I'm being hyperbolic. I'm not. I'm angry about the game. I've not mentioned Ipswich. I've not mentioned Leicester. Well, I have because we played really well there. And that I felt this rendered that effort pointless because that's the nature of the championship. You could beat the best team and then lose to the worst team a week later. I mean, we didn't lose. It feels like a loss.
Well, Wolves know all about that. They've been playing very well against the better teams and then losing to shitty teams.
They have extra help. That's all I'm going to say on that. But teams. One of the things that I saw in that match, in the match that I watched today, was that it didn't matter from which direction that Rotherham. Was that the team? I'm new to them, so I'm like, is it whatever? It's Rotherham. It didn't matter which direction they came from in the counter, on the left, on the right, up the middle. Leeds were getting beat, and it was kind of like if I was a diehard Leeds fan, I'd be kind of embarrassed with how easily they were able to get to move forward.
The thing with Firpo and Cooper is they weren't solely at fault for what happened in terms of conceding that goal.
I thought Cooper played well until he got injured.
There were elements of the goal that he was culpable for, but like I say, as a defence, they were culpable for that because they all had multiple, as you said, multiple chances to get rid of that ball. So I don't want to sit there and go, oh, Firpo got beat in this situation. It's like, all right, but that's football. But I don't expect that's football to apply to all of the defenders in one sequence.
Yeah. Well, that being said, that one goal, that one defensive blunder after blunder after blunder in one play, it's pasting over other things that we're not mentioning, which is missed opportunities by Leeds United to make it 2-0, to make it actually earlier on with one of the first possessions of the game. There was a ball crossed into the box and a free header that when you see it, you're like, oh, that must have headed into somebody's shoulder and gone flying that high over the bar. And I think that was that Cooper?
Pirro.
That was Pirro. Terrible
one
header,
in the first minute.
In the first minute to go 1-0. And then when you score so fluidly and easy, in the 7th minute, I felt Leeds United took on a bit of a cockiness of like, we should already be 2 up. We'll get this no problem. And then it just wasn't crisp. It wasn't crisp. Crescencio Somerville was being an absolute menace to the defenders. He was all over the place. He would get up into space, and then you could tell he's losing his options, and the people running up with him, he doesn't know who to pass to. He finally drops off a pass to Kamara, and Kamara seemed like shocked to be getting the ball and didn't know what to do with it. When I'm like, Somerville, just shoot again. Just shoot. Like,
Yeah.
at least you'll put a shot on target, because he's hot right now. He's very hot. And that goal was a goal that you take with confidence. I'm going to bring it back to Arsenal, like I always love to do, but that was very Martinelli-esque of a goal, where you're running so fast up the left side, yet you open your body. You take the time to open your hips wide enough to hook it around the keeper and go that far post with this curling shot that just sort of trickles in there and looks so slow. And like, how did that even go in there? But it's because you shouldn't be able to slow your body down that well and open your hips that well to get that well of a shot off. And when people do it, it's absolutely amazing. And Martinelli he does that for us all the time, almost to a fault, where we're like, pass the ball, but no, he always wants to do that. So I felt the ease of that goal, the ease of nearly getting a goal in the first minute, was like, we're going to get this 3-0, no problem. I know I had that confidence for them, but you could see it on the pitch where Rotherham was like, we just need to not let you score again, and we're still in this match, and they absolutely were. So, yeah, tough one there. There you go. Bandy says the game was too easy for us. Sometimes there's a danger in knowing that you're the best. Yeah, and that's why you get teams like Manchester City every season. They're good for a loss to a team like Crystal Palace, to a team like Wolves, to a team like Nottingham Forest, teams like that, where they'll go and they'll beat up on Chelsea, United, Arsenal, Liverpool, because they play their best on those days. Other days, they're prone to errors because they know they got it. They know eventually they're going to win. And then they don't.
I can tell you something tactically about Leeds that I noticed tonight, or I noticed it tonight, but it's been back in my mind, is that a lot of the problems attacking for Leeds are that we time waste too much when we're on attack. Like, our goal came from a pass into Jorginho Rutter, who immediately one touch, and because he played it immediately, Somerville beat the offside trap.
Yep.
It was only if he'd have even took a second
if he would have
longer
taken
to make
a
that
touch,
pass, he'd have been
would have been offside. Yeah,
because our front four are very fast, especially at championship level. There's a distinct difference, as you can see by Rotherham's first half until they scored.
Yeah.
And basically, there's a lot of passes where if we played the pass sooner, we'd have a player onside, it'd be through on goal. And you give yourself a better chance of scoring. But we waste too much time dilly-dallying on the ball, some may say. And same as, like, there were a million things he could have done. And then at last second, he passes to Camera, who's then in a position, puts himself in a position where he's not confident of scoring, but he's there. So he has to lash the shot.
Yeah.
And
out of all the people, he's probably not the guy you want on the ball with the last second.
You know, Kamara was in the right spot, and I hey man, shoot that shot. But it just, I agree with you, Lolo, that it surprised the hell out of him. He wasn't expecting that at all, you know. And
because he needed it earlier, the ball needed to come to him earlier.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I think that it was more the surprise, and like the brain and the body was like they weren't in sync. You know, the body did what it did, but the brain was like, I didn't mean to do it quite like that, because it went into the side net. I really feel he could have snuck in on far post. But you know, I mean, at that point it could have been 4-0. You know, with the opportunities that Leeds had in the first half. And Tom, I totally agree with you with this whole like, hey, this is something that I noticed because I noticed it too. But there's something else that I noticed about Leeds United and very specifically Patrick Bamford. And I know he came on late in like what, the 65th minute, 70th minute. And it kind of attributed to the call of offsides. And I know that that's a very like tenuous decision. Because there's a group that says he wasn't offsides. There's a group that says he
was furious.
Was offsides. I think he was offsides, and it's because of a tendency that I've noticed over like the last year and a half between Premier League and Championship that Bamford has, and he has this tendency when he waits for the ball, he leans forward. And if he's not offsides, it gives the illusion of him being offsides, and I think it's like to a big detriment when he comes on because he has that tendency. And I don't know how someone who's like 28, 29 years old corrects that, but we've seen it before, even when it was kind of that bullshit one where he's got his hand out from like 2 years ago, but he's leaning forward.
Yeah.
I don't know.
My problem. My problem with that is that
if we got it,
he was offside. I mean, he was offside.
I think he was offsides.
And the issue, especially watching a match without VAR, you can't give them the problem. Patty was offside for a while. And then he tried to get himself back on side as the pass was coming through there. But to me, it's like, look, everybody's already in the box. You're not going to gain anything. Like, just stay on side. Just stay on side and find a better position. But the only position he could find was going through them and going past them. But then the ball was passed to the back behind him. So he had to come back. It's the only time I've seen an offside where he had to run into an onside position to get the ball, because the ball was passed behind him and he got a toe on it. Had he not touched it, it may have been able to go for a goal, and then he's not offside. But I don't know.
It's one of those things where in the moment I'm furious and I'm like, that's fucking bullshit. And I sat there immediately going, I know on Sunday on my own show, I'm going to sit here and go, yeah, he was probably offside.
Yeah. Nick, Lolo, you just mentioned it, and you were like saying, watching a match without VAR, I have to admit, it was really refreshing to just go, that's the decision, move on. Yeah. And it was just kind of a more, to me, I don't watch a lot of championship matches because I'm in the States and I can't. I try when I can. If it's competing against the Premier League, I'm gonna watch Premier League over Champions League or Championship. But when I can, I do. And specifically, I watch Leeds. It was so refreshing to watch a match that wasn't followed with a.
Yep.
It was so cool. It was so organic to me.
It felt like the ref had his. It was one of these where you're like, oh my God, how is that not a foul? How did he not call that? And then the other team does a similar challenge and he doesn't call that one either. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, the ref, it's his game. Like at least he's being consistent and he's not being pressured of like, no, I didn't call that one. And no, I didn't call this one, but now I'm being told to go look at it. And now I'm going to need to change my decision, even though in the moment I'm watching it live and I feel, which is what we were talking about last week of like giving the referee their balls back because they are the only ones who are in the thick of it. And they are more likely to be able to tell a cynical challenge from just a bad tackle. They're more likely to be able to feel that from the game than we are in the stands or the VAR officials are in the booth. So for me, there's tons of times in this match where I was like, how's he not calling that? How's he not calling that? And then later going like, No, at least he's being consistent, and I felt like he had a good game. Like the ref had a good game because he was consistent. Were there missed calls? Absolutely. Were there calls that should have gone one way or another way? I know Leeds United got a goal kick that probably was a corner. And I know the guy, the Rotherham dude was furious, and it looked like a corner.
He screams, "How!"
Yeah, he's like, how? Because he kicked it into the defender and it went out of bounds, and they're like, goal kick. Not that that's VAR reviewable anyway.
What I will say about
I agree with you. It was refreshing.
What I think is really important to point out, Championship, it's not elite football by any stretch, but it's pure football. And you get what you pay for in terms of the ball is in play most of the time compared to a Premier League game.
And that's why you're screaming with 1 minute of added time. Just boot the ball. There's not going to be 4 minutes added on top of the 1 minute. Like, just boot the ball.
Yeah, I'm not saying it like I totally don't understand that Daniel Farke wants us to play the ball out from the back and retain possession. I understand that. But there's literally 1 minute of added time and they're 25 seconds into it. So launch the ball.
Right.
In that situation where we're under pressure. But we didn't, and that's why it went 1-1. And they had the onus. Yeah. They should have won in terms of like the chances they did have. Especially in that second half when Liam Cooper. Sorry, John.
Hey, Tom, you mentioned something about a show tomorrow. What would that be?
Hang on. Which of my various shows am I on tomorrow? Oh, wait. Sorry. Oh, that's on Sunday, of course. Sorry. Let me check my...
Today's Friday. It feels like a Saturday to me. Sorry.
Check my calendar. Sorry. So I'm booked in for Sunday for We All Love Leeds. And then, but on Tom, Saturday, I think
that's the actual only non-Arsenal show that you do, football related.
It's not true. Yeah. All right. With that caveat, you're right.
And Pincushion, Ian just wants to remind you, Farke has 2 syllables, Tom, and I know that because I had the closed captioning on, and it kept saying Parker. Anytime they mentioned his name because it was like Farke.
Yeah. Farke's not well dressed enough to be Parker.
Yeah, Lord Farquaad.
Fine, join me next week on my chess channel.
We'll be talking Arsenal. Yeah, I guess it is Saturday already for you. So,
yeah.
All right. Well, any last thoughts on Leeds United? We've done a good 30 minutes on Leeds United.
If there was an opportunity to name a man of the match, obviously for Leeds, I think Somerville was man of the match. Yeah. But for Rotherham, I would probably give it to Rathbone. Is that his name? He was kind of like a false 9 today, I think. He was I think he's still running. He was just everywhere on the pitch. So
yeah. Their keeper had 2 good saves at least.
He did have 2 good saves, but Meslier had 3 in my count. You know, Meslier had granted there weren't a lot of shots on target, but I felt Meslier played really well, and not necessarily better than what's his name. I got it here somewhere. You can tell my eyesight is going because I have to.
Johansson. Yeah, I mean he had 5 saves. But I know there were at least 2 that were like one-on-one or close to one-on-one, and that he made a good save. That they weren't great shots. They were lazy shots by Leeds United because once again, I thought that they felt like they had it. They had it no problem.
Right. Glenn Hayes, no, I don't. I would not hang this on Farke. I wouldn't. I don't think this loss is his fault. I think it was just a case of, you know, I said it earlier, and I don't want to repeat myself, but it's a case of a very comfortable Leeds in 3rd place versus a team that was in a relegation to League One. What's up, Anders? And they needed the points more, and they got one. You know,
keep an eye
they
on
got
them next week, John. Mark, keep an eye on Rotherham next week, Mark, because
they
will
play
get
Leicester.
Destroyed. They will get destroyed.
Are they playing Leicester or Ipswich Town?
I don't even know, but I know that 2 weeks ago, before the national break, they lost 5-0. But
Right.
but everyone puts on their best Sunday outfit when Leeds roll into town.
Yeah, they play Hull next week.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Yeah.
Hull will kill them.
Well, marching on together, on to Swansea. You guys get to go to Wales. Whose coat is that jacket? Whose shoes are those trainers?
Whose shoes are those trainers?
Whose shoes are those trainers?
I'll be wrong.
That paper you're sitting on, are you reading that?
I will say, I was hoping like we would put Rotherham under a bit more pressure in that second half, and I could only imagine the fear on their players when they looked over at the bench and saw Patrick Bamford warming up. I think Rotherham were half thinking, just give Leeds a penalty.
Yeah, exactly.
And well, they tried to.
Give Leeds a penalty, and from the resulting goal kick, we can launch the ball down the other end of the pitch. Just nice and simple.
And then they got it. Yeah. All right, so let's move on. We have Premier League action back tomorrow. Finally, we've been on a international break, but we do have Mo Master in the house, so he likes to talk about Real Madrid and Ancelotti and all that nonsense. But he actually mentioned, let's talk about. He says, don't start this BS. Let's talk Argentina, Brazil, who won in the stands. I mean, did you guys see that?
Well,
Did you guys see? Did you see the fighting in the stands before the match? Where
Brazil, Argentina?
Yeah,
I heard about it. I didn't see it.
The cops were out there
last time
beating people. I believe it was the Brazilian cops beating on Argentinian fans. Who knows what happened? Who knows how it started and all that? At one point, Dibu, Emiliano Martinez, the keeper, ex-Arsenal keeper, Aston Villa keeper, he's standing there like yelling at people in the stands like to stop fighting or whatever, and he sees a police officer lift up his baton and go to like hit somebody. Emi Martinez jumps into the crowd and grabs him by the shoulder to be like, no, and everybody pulls Emi off like, dude, you're worth millions of dollars. Like, no, back the fuck up. He will hit you. He's Brazilian. But you see Emi like, no, like, fight him if you want to fight him, but don't be whacking them with clubs. But there were fans bloodied. And everything that they showed was, it seemed mostly cops on Argentinian fans. And at one point, a cop gives a Brazilian fan his billy club to go start hitting. It was madness. This was before the game. And then they went on and played the game. I don't understand.
Brazil lost?
You're not describing to me anything that I've not heard before about South American football. It's crazy. It's like a different world over there with respect to it.
Is Brazil running a? I know this is a stupid question, but are they running risk of not qualifying? Because these are all qualifiers, and they lost Argentina, they lost Uruguay. I mean,
Brazil are not in a good state right now. Brazil.
I don't believe they're in danger though, like genuinely.
No, but like, look, I mean, you're going into. You've just lost to two of your biggest rivals in all of history, and Argentina. I think Argentina hadn't beat Brazil at home in forever or something like that. But look. Brazil, who knows? I don't know enough about what they have going on. All I do know is that Gabriel Jesus was not fit to play for Arsenal, yet they said, fuck that, we're going to take him. We're going to take them to, we're going to bring him to the national team anyway, make him fly all the way to fucking Brazil, and we'll have our doctors check him out. And they checked him out, and they started him in the Argentina match, and he ran his ass off forever. So he's fit enough for that, but this is happening over and over and over. And it just happened with Spain and Gabi. One of Barcelona's key men, key
Did
kids.
you see that?
And he could be done for his career. Like, it's such a bad injury.
It was that bad.
But Barcelona fans are
clips.
like, we're fucked. We're fucked because and you think Catalonia wants to leave Spain. You think they wanted to leave Spain before this, but now they're like Brazil, the Spanish national team just essentially handed over the league to, let's say, Real Madrid, even though I think like Girona or someone like that is in first, with
little man.
Yeah, it very rarely do I,
Girona's in first place, which is fucking.
I watch a lot of sports. I've seen a lot of injuries, and this is up there in one that made me sick to my stomach, and one that I will probably talk about for a really long time because it was just so awful. And I would not be surprised if this ruins or ends his career, but I've been wrong before. I mean, Christian Eriksen has a heart attack on the pitch in the Euros, and he's playing at a very strong level.
Because you can get a defibrillator for your heart, you can't get a defibrillator for your ACL.
No, this is true, but it's also a case where an ACL injury is not what it was.
And he's like,
isn't what it was 10 years ago. I mean, 10 years ago, an ACL injury was damn near career-ending, and now, not so much. But it's still like questionable on whether or not, and just. What I think sickens me the most is that it at such a young age. I mean, I think he's like 19, 20 years old.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just fucking awful.
And he's out for the season, and Barcelona's already very injured as it is. But to have that, and it's like he shouldn't have played. Spain have already qualified. Spain don't need to play anybody.
Right.
That's one where like. Stupid Southgate is doing that as well.
Oh, bloody hell.
Stupid Southgate is doing that as well, where it's like, look, why is Saka playing 90 minutes? Why are these guys? This is your time. You've already qualified. You're playing. Who are they playing? Like, what is it? San Martino or?
I'm gonna jump in here. Pincushion, cardiac arrest, a heart attack. Those are. That's the same. It's just different words. Your heart stops. It's the same thing.
All right, I'm going to play devil's advocate on playing Saka. Gareth Southgate's responsibility is not to Arsenal. It's to the England national team. Now, don't get me wrong. Deep down, I know there's no actual reason to play him in both of these games and all that. I get that. But when his job comes up following the Euros, and if he's on the fence or like they're on the fence on him, Arsenal ain't going to go, but he did what we wanted. He didn't play our players when we didn't want. No, of course they're not. They're just going to sit there with their hands behind their back and then hope that the next manager doesn't do the same or whatever. So his responsibility is to his job.
Yeah.
And the player, but more his job.
Yeah. Yeah,
you and Momaster actually agree.
I don't even know the last time Saka, like in a game that he played, I don't know when Saka has been given a rest.
Mark, get off it. Get off it, Mark.
I'm
You're
being
like,
honest.
Saka spends half the match laying on the pitch. He's always got a break. You can't have it both ways, Mark. You can't have it both ways. He's always rested.
But okay, so fine. That's cynical, Spawny. But let's be serious. Let's be serious.
I will not.
I watch enough Arsenal to know that boy doesn't get a break. He doesn't get a break as far as like he starts for England and he plays a full 75 to 90 minutes. He plays 75 to 90 minutes for Arsenal. When was the last time Saka wasn't in the lineup non-injury, where they just gave him a rest. Never.
We had that a few weeks ago, or like a month ago, where we ended his streak. He had like 87 matches in a row starting, which is
They won't play him in the Carabao, and then they'll lose.
What?
Well, did he play in the Carabao Cup match against West Ham?
Are we already out of the Carabao? Yeah, I think we are.
Yeah. I can't remember if he played, but if they were to rest him in a game, that would be the
These
game.
international breaks absolutely kill me because I feel like we're starting a new season again. I'm like, I don't know. We lost to West Ham. When was that? That was like 2 weeks ago.
Right. That reminds me of a really great, and I'm sure it could apply to everyone, but when Arsenal got bounced, it definitely applied to Arsenal, but it was the joke was, what's the difference between Arsenal and a tea bag? A tea bag will stay in the cup longer.
Wow.
You really should use that for Spurs more than anything.
Yeah, or Leeds
I'm
United
just saying,
well.
That's how I heard it. I heard it as an Arsenal joke, not any other joke.
A lot of these jokes do tend to be interchangeable, as you'll find out on the We All Lovely show.
Absolutely.
Just depending on who wins or loses that week.
When was the last time the Wolves competed past the third round for the Cup? Like 4 years ago?
Nobody
even knows.
And that's because they can't do the lines at Anfield or something. Otherwise, you would have been in the fourth round.
Right?
Yeah.
Because they can't do the goddamn lines. Or they're like, oh, we didn't have a camera, but he was offsides.
A camera would have appeared had it been
but you know, the camera was in the wrong spot. You would have seen it, you know.
They would have used the remote control to slot camera across if it was Salah.
The league told us there was a camera in the wrong position. Otherwise, they could prove that he was offsides. Ludicrous. And
I
not the
regret
rapper.
bringing that up.
So here's something crazy. I was just looking up. It's crazy about La Liga right now because Girona, who is a perennial yo-yo club, they are in first place right now. They are playing out of their mind. 11 wins, 1 draw, 1 loss. They are ahead of Real Madrid, Barcelona, Atletico Madrid, everybody else. 34 points. What?
You know who owns Girona?
And I was just going to say, you know who owns Girona? Pep
Saudis?
Guardiola's brother. Isn't that fucking weird?
Energetic Guardiola.
Peppy. Yeah. But so there's
Little Man City doing well. Imagine my shot.
Yeah. Anyway, that is crazy. Yeah, so John over here says, fuck me, the players are on over 100K a week. They should be playing at least 3 days a week. Now, what do you think about this, where this comes up a lot? The players are tired. They're having to play too many games a week. We all have to work lots of days a week. We all have to continue doing our lives all the time without trips to Tahiti every summer. Do you think, fuck them, they only play for 10, 15 years of their life. They should go balls to the wall.
I think if footballers were, if teams were always supposed to just play their best 11 players, there'd be no need for subs and they wouldn't have a squad.
I think for myself...
Wait, say that again? Say that again, Tom?
I'm saying there'd be no need for squads. There'd be no need for subs because you just play your best 11 players all the time.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you should. I'm saying...
Yeah, no.
I'm saying that people are generally saying, oh, Saka's tired. It's like, don't play him then. It's Arsenal's job in England. Those two teams, it's their job to manage him and his fitness. Yeah. It's not on everyone else to be like, oh, I wish go easy on Saka. He's a bit tired.
Yeah. Here's the thing. If you want to be the champion, if you want to win trophies, this is the price you pay. You pay extra games. you play more to show that you are the best. So get out there and suck it up. Yeah, you're tired. And I don't blame that you're tired. Be deeper then, but nobody can be deeper with like, I don't know, $1,800 million players. You don't have that luxury.
Yeah,
but look, this is where you show the world you're the best. Be the best by playing those extra games.
And put in the work on those off days and on the training days and train your fucking ass off and use that money to pay for nutritionists and mental health experts and things like that, because I feel for these guys who complain about playing too many matches, because I'm like, just wait 5 years when you're not being asked to play those matches anymore. That's the real tragedy for you. Not that, oh, I have to play too much, I'm a starter on every fucking game. Well, that's because you're very good. But next month, next year, you might not be there. And then they're like, oh, you know what? Take a break. You play too many games. We're not going to play you in any Champions League. Or you know what? We're only going to play you in the Cups because, oh, you're too tired. And then you'll be looking back at those stupid comments you made back in the day of, oh, I'm playing too much. Well, now you're not. Now you're you go around signing autographs at fucking Barnes and Noble. Or you're playing in the MLS.
That's a bookstore, Tom.
I know. I've seen friends or...
Now tell them what a book is.
John, what's a book? Is it those things that I used to read on air?
He's like, I know books. I know bookmakers.
It's the thing it's what they call when they show you a yellow card. You get put in the book.
Yeah. You can, yeah.
Or if you're Everton and you're cooking the books.
Now
I'm in the book.
I think it's just important to point out Brazil was 6th in World Cup qualifying, but 6 qualify. 1 goes into a playoff. So of the 10 teams in the Conem Bowl, or whatever it's called, only 3 teams definitely don't qualify. It actually would take a major effort from the Brazilian national team to not qualify for the 2026 World Cup. And on top of that, Ecuador have had 3 points deducted for falsifying the birth documents for one of their players in the previous World Cup qualifying.
Yep.
That's the thing.
Yeah. Ecuador hired this guy who started doing independent scouting of Ecuadorian players, or players with Ecuadorian heritage from all over the world that didn't even know they were Ecuadorian. And he would go out and find them and talk to them. Like, he did not work for Ecuador at all. Like, he's just an Ecuadorian who loves football, and he's like tired of his team not qualifying and not doing anything in the Cup. So he would go out to Germany and places like that where there's random people who have their grandparents were from Ecuador or something like that. And he would find that. So I'm sure that 3 points comes from something sketchy like that, where he's like, okay, well, it's his adopted grandparents, uncles, something like that. And all of a sudden they have Beckenbauer playing on Ecuador. And you're like, how is he Ecuadorian? Like that German dude who has like a Mexican name.
Brazil were below that Ecuador
Gomez
team, by the way. Ecuador 5th. They're still a point in front of Brazil, even with the 3-point deduction.
And Ecuador have gotten a lot better. I mean, they have isn't Caicedo Ecuadorian?
Yep.
Caicedo, Estupiñán.
Estupiñán, I thought, is Argentinian.
No. Purvis. I mean, come on. Purvis, Estupiñán.
I'm still surprised no one has bought Thiago Almada from Atlanta United.
Ecuadorian.
Really
Nailed it.
Ecuadorian.
Yep.
He is Ecuadorian.
Isn't his name On the Stoopion?
On the Stoopion. Nailed it. 10 points for John. He's winning trivia right now.
Oh yeah, John
he's just winning.
He's just winning life right now.
The Rangers
Oh,
playing.
Goodness.
He looks happy.
Well, I think
The
the
Rangers
Rangers won, baby, 3-1 against the Flyers.
3-1.
They played the
Yeah.
Bruins tomorrow.
That explains it. That explains
Exactly.
it. Right. Yep.
Yeah. So that's fun. Anything else in international news, guys? I know people are calling for Southgate's head because he won the 2 matches that they played. But not by enough. France goes out and wins 14.
He didn't beat Macedonia.
Oh, he drew with Macedonia, and then like 2-0 over San Martino or some team like that. Where everybody all of a sudden is like, "Oh, Southgate out. How can you only beat them by 2?"
Why is it Why is it always in these international qualifiers? England plays like the biggest scrub. It's like they're playing like Vatican City, or they're playing like.
We had one of the harder groups, to be fair, Mark.
This year?
Yeah.
This time around?
No. The only reason I say that is because obviously Italy are defending champions of the tournament. Ukraine they're not the worst, are they? I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to say your point is valid. That's not my point. But then you get the scrubs, as you call them. You're still going to places where you'd rather not have to travel to play football.
Right. No, fair enough. Yeah. I mean,
well,
but it's like,
and Mark, I mean, come on. France played Gibraltar. Did you even know Gibraltar was its own country?
Oh, I'm very well aware, of that. But it's just like, it's like I remember when like people were getting all sorts of excited when like the run was like, and like they played Andorra twice in like 3 matches or something like that during, in the group stage, and then they played Albania, and then they played San Marino, and it was just like, oh, come on, man. Where is the competition? Yeah, sure. Southgate, feck off.
So France won 14-0 against Gibraltar. Mbappe with the hat trick. Giroud with 2 goals in the 89th and 91st minute. Which was
Giroud in goal? Was he in the sticks, between the sticks?
But probably clean sheet. So he probably was. But big up to Olivier Giroud. I saw a picture earlier today of a young Karim Benzema standing next to Thierry Henry, both wearing their France jerseys. And the comment on it was, "Can you believe France had the likes of these 2 guys, and Olivier Giroud is the all-time leading scorer for France?" It's pretty fucking hilarious.
What I thought was funny about that France game, Gibraltar have a player named Ethan Santos, and he got sent off when it was 3-0. Yeah. Now, what I imagine is obviously they have the saying he went for an early bath. So when they all came back to the changing room and he had finished his bath, I imagine he may have turned around to his players and said, "Did you keep it to 3-0, lads?" They were like, about that. Add another 11.
Yeah, we only let him get 11 more goals. So
obviously that proves that Santos is a key player for Gibraltar.
I'm kind of with Pincushion here with his, he's saying that I don't get all this anti-Southgate stuff, and I agree. I think he's just fine as a manager of the national team. I mean, he did well in the Euros. He did, fairly well in the World Cup considering competition. He gets the most out of his team. I know like sometimes he gets criticized with who he puts on the team, but you can't argue with the result.
My opinion on Southgate is nothing I haven't said before, but basically my feelings on him is he done the thing that all England managers when they're incoming say, where they won't pick favourites, they'll pick on merit, and now he picks players that don't even play in the first team of their Premier League teams. And that's not anti-Calvin Phillips, that's fact.
Oh, no, that's definitely Calvin Phillips.
Should not be in the team based on...
Nope.
obviously it's up to him who he picks, and he's obviously picking players that he trusts to do the things he asks of them. Basically, I imagine in training, he tells Calvin Phillips, when you get the ball, I want you to pass it to someone, no matter whether it's backwards, sideways, or whatever, so you don't lose the ball. And Calvin Phillips goes, all right, boss, does that, and that's why he gets picked. Harry Maguire, similar, does whatever he's asking of him, he's obviously doing it. And so he's not dry. He's obviously got trust in these two individuals. And, you know, all man, like as Scooby said, he's got favourites. And the bigger problem with him, I don't think it's a problem because his job is to win. But he plays boring football. It's not exciting to watch. Dare I say, it's turgid to watch. I prefer to not watch it, quite frankly. Like, to me, like I said last week, I enjoy the international break because I do other things. I love football, despite what I say sometimes. But I don't love watching the England national team play matches that are pointless. Sorry,
this is what Scooby's saying here when he said he's got his favorites, but he plays defensive with an average defense, but we've got a great attack. And I mean, just look at it. You've got Harry Kane, who I'm allowed to like now, who is on Bayern Munich, absolutely destroying the way we knew he would going into that Lewandowski role with Bayern Munich. But you've got him with Saka, with Grealish, with Foden, with Declan Rice, Calvin Phillips, with, I don't even know, Sterling, all the rest of these guys there. There is a little bit of like, you know what? Why don't we just get okay with giving up a goal here and there, knowing that we're going to put up 4 or 5 every game, a little bit of Bielsa ball here, a little bit of Klopp, gegenpressing, you know, of like, I don't care that one of my 4 defenders is a better midfielder than most midfielders in the league and a terrible defender. He's got that spot. We will be soft on that side. We will give up a goal every now and then, but we're going to put up 3 every match just about. And with Harry Kane, with Saka, with Grealish, with all those guys that I mentioned, you should be putting up 3 goals against most teams.
Mm-hmm.
And when I see that it's Harry Maguire who's the one on the score sheet, I'm like, well, that came from a corner or something like that. Where,
right?
So I don't know. I think that's where Southgate gets a lot of his stick from, is that it's boring to watch. And even if you look at that, you know, whoever you played where you were 2-0, or even Macedonia 1-1, where it's like, how on earth
the Malta game
are you unable to break down that team? How on earth?
We won the Malta game, and I believe it was worse than the Macedonia game. It was. But the thing I will give Southgate credit for, and I don't agree with like playing players that are not.
This is 100% true as well. Sorry.
Yeah, of course it is. Yes. But Bielsa would do this, and we'd all love him for it. Bielsa would be like, I don't care if Man City ain't playing him. He does what I ask of him, and I trust him, and I'm going to play him. And we would all sit here and go, Bielsa's amazing. He knows something that Pep doesn't, or whatever. Like,
that's what we wanted. We wanted Messi to go to Leeds just to see him get benched by Bielsa because he doesn't work hard enough.
Exactly,
because he doesn't run.
I honestly was thinking today.
Take it.
I was honestly thinking today. It was like, how do we get Bamford his like.
The irony of pink cushion saying people love to moan unnecessarily, by the way. Sorry,
his Uruguay papers, so that he can go back and play for Bielsa and be the man that he used to be. Because I swear to God, you know, just to go back to Bamford a little bit.
That was quick, John.
It was just like, you know, when he had that lovely pass given to him, and I think he booted it over, and just the minute it left his boot, Bamford's head just hung. He hung his head the minute it left his boot, as if he knew what was going to happen, and it was just really sad to see. You know, that's all I got.
Well, no, you bring it back to depressing ass Bamford. Yeah.
Who will never be on the national team.
Yeah. Well, anyways, guys, we are halfway.
Sorry.
we are halfway through the show, so it's about time for us old ass dudes to go on a bio break. Use the toilet, smoke them if you got them, and we have something special that Mark put together for us. John, you know where that is, and
hopefully y'all like it.
So we're gonna, if you're not running off to the restroom or anything like that, feel free to enjoy a little bit of trivia that Mark put together, and then we will be back with Mr. Tom's Betting in the Dark with Mr. Tom, and we will get into all of our Premier League predictions and all of that coming up right after this. So have a good bio break. Oh, okay. I guess it's over. So yeah. All right. Did everybody
What
get
the
the
hell's a
trivia?
Fender Barkley?
I have no idea. I missed all of that.
That ended abruptly.
Yeah. Need to work on Mark's editing a little bit, but hey, big up for Mark for doing that. All right. So let's get back.
Was it okay? Did it work?
I don't know. I was on a bio break.
I was too.
All right, let's get into it. I'm excited to see some Premier League action and to open up my betting app again and put down some bets. Oh, wait, we have another guest who's just in time. Oh, I have the hiccups. Too much running. What's up, Gary?
Hello, people. Hello there, Lolo. Mark.
Hey, Gary. Happy Thanksgiving belated.
Happy belated Thanksgiving to you. Everybody in the chat, welcome to the show. Oh, you know what?
Right.
I don't know what kind of beer this is, but it's a black can. I've never
Are
had
you welcoming people to a show you've arrived an hour late for?
Yes, I'm
Right?
saying hello, welcome to the show.
Right?
I didn't want to call him out on that one, but you're right, Tom.
What is your problem with me? What I do to you? I said hello. Ian, welcome.
Gary, you're like an algebra book. You got a lot of fucking problems.
Gary's the only one that's like branded right now.
Yeah.
He's the only one wearing our brand.
I love Gary. He's the best. He's the best.
My hat, man.
All right.
All
right,
Can I
well,
ask
let's
you,
get-
can I before we move on? I want to ask a quick question because I saw your little beer cozy, Gary,
Yes, sir.
and Lolo's wearing the trainer. Which way is the proper way for the cannon to be pointed? Because your cannon is pointing in the opposite direction of Lolo's.
That way.
Mm.
Well, yeah. In the old JVC one, it's pointing the other way. In the older kit, it's pointing
Or
the other
maybe
way.
it doesn't matter.
Ian, should I go side hat crew again?
Does it
I
have
don't
a
know.
beer in it?
That's all that
Always.
matters.
It's the only thing that goes in here.
It's all that matters. What beer is in there? It doesn't matter which way the cannon is pointing.
You know what's weird about this is, like I said, it's a black can.
Let's see. Hold on.
3 Lloyd's Brewing.
Oh,
Speed
Floyds.
Castle.
3 Floyds.
Oh, you're right. 3 Floyds. I can't even read
Yeah,
this. Right in
those
front
are
of my face.
dangerous. Be careful. 3 Floyd sneaks in these like 7%ers that you
It's
don't
only
realize.
5.6. I got, I went to Costco and they had like a box of beer. And I was like, oh, I'll try that. Along with just the regular beer I get, just because, why not? So far, I don't like fruity beers. That's the only thing I'll tell you. I don't. Maybe banana beer I like, but all the other ones, oof.
Banana.
I don't like
beer.
flavored beers.
I've had banana beer and actually tastes bad. Hello there, Ian.
Well, Mark, to answer your
John
question,
Luke,
you
John.
know, when you're younger, and they say, "How's it hanging?" You know, when you're younger, it might hang off to the left, and then as you get older, it might start hanging off to the right. So your
That's
cannon
too much
points
information.
different directions. The older you get, I would say.
Is that a
So,
box's brief?
I guess
type
it's
of,
all a
read?
matter of what's comfortable.
Yeah. Is that
Gary, you
sounds
doing
good.
a show tomorrow?
worry about your own cannon.
Well, you said yours hangs to the left or to the right. I don't know what that means. Yes,
Not
you
sure.
How's
show
it
is
Joey,
on
hanging?
tomorrow.
Low and to the
We will
left.
have a
See-
show on tomorrow.
see-
Me and Mr. Tom will be on tomorrow. You know what? I gotta update you, John, because of new management. It's like over here. If you open up and you work in a mall, you have to open up when the mall opens. So I've got new management that I'm under now, and they say 10 a.m. So we'll be doing our show a little bit earlier than usual, or we've been doing it earlier than usual, but that's the time. I'll give you the updated pick there, and you can see their boss there nodding. Yeah, so he says 10 a.m. So guess what? I say, how high?
You're
Fair
doing
enough.
you're
I
doing
just-
tomorrow at 10 a.m.
Yeah, 10 a.m. we'll be on, and then we'll probably stay on and do the watch along as well, just because.
Well, yeah,
that's what's
because
going on.
I guess
Arsenal's
we're
at
the late game
12:30.
tomorrow.
Yeah, we're the
But
last.
game.
you'll be on
Probably-
during Newcastle
Oh,
Chelsea.
Newcastle, Chelsea.
Yeah, we do a little bit of football and a lot of whatever. So you get your football chat in terms of the scores, and then we do whatever. It's a road trip. You never know.
But people
where it's
should
gonna go.
genuinely
I
sit
love
in with
it.
us. It's good fun. It's good fun.
Yeah.
It basically it's like a goal rush where like people will tell us there's been goals at Wrexham, or no one ever tells us there's been a goal at Wrexham, but they could, and we'd read it out, and there's obviously football discuss. I mean, it's basically this, but
It's like the red zone without the production value.
it's the red zone with none of the production value, of course. I'm surprised I'm surprised we even like flick the button and go live, really, but we do, and it.
How do you get
It's good
invited to
fun.
any of these shows? You just talk shit about all the shows that you're on,
Because he's goddamn
He
motherfucking
tells you.
Mr. Tom.
There you go. Yeah. Don't you know? If you don't know, you better ask somebody.
Mr. Tom is bigger than all of us. He is the celebrity.
It's literally not true.
We're all just
literally
we're
not
all
true,
B
and you know it.
stars. We are all B actors compared
Mark,
to that superstar, Mr. Tom.
The first time we met Tom, you remember he was so humbled and like, I can't believe he was starstruck meeting us, hanging out. When he met James, oh my God. The next time I went to London, getting him to come out to a bar was like, sorry guys, I got this press thing I got to do. I guess I'll go see Lolo for one beer. If he pays for my cab, I'll go out and meet him.
Well, I think the
I got
last
things
time
to
you made, or we made Mr. Tom wait like
did
to
hours
last
with
fucking
Gary's dad.
call. Yeah, exactly.
With Gary's
and
dad.
It was like we actually had to beg the bouncer to let us
Yeah,
in.
yeah. We
He
did.
did let you
I
in.
enjoyed that. And
He
he's
He
like,
was like,
why do
no,
I have
you're
to
not
go in
coming
there?
in.
You had,
And I was
had
like,
an entry
dude,
card.
we
Remember
just
that?
got off
What was
of
the
work,
entrance?
and these guys are waiting for us. We're from the States. We're meeting them for the first time. How about you let us? And he
But why
was
did they
just
let
like,
you in, Lolo? Remember that? Remember there was a picture. What did the picture say?
Oh, I don't
I
remember.
do believe we had beers waiting for
Yes,
us.
you had
which was
beers
another
waiting.
Oh, we
That
had
was
beers
why.
waiting for
Beer.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
We showed him. We were like, no, there's beers already at the table. We're in.
And he went,
Yeah,
"All right
we
then."
just came from working a gig that night. Anyway,
Yep.
let's get to it. Let's get to betting in the dark with Mr. Tom.
Betting in the dark with Mr. Tom.
Come on, love, place your bets.
Hello, everyone, for the leftovers edition of Betting in the Dark with Mr. Tom and Cyril and Finger the Duck.
Finger the duck.
Finger the Duck's here, baby. And Finger the Duck has got some specials for you. I didn't pick them. It's Finger the Duck, so put all your hate to him. I'm basically going with Man City in the early game. Is basically Haaland's going to score at least 2 or 3 of the goals. He'll definitely score the first goal. It's going to be 3-1, turn 1 in the 60, and that'll start your weekend off nice with a quick win.
This is nuts that it's only 58-1 for a correct score, correct first goal scorer, and somebody to score more than 2 goals. That is like, if it was anyone besides Haaland and City, it would be like 200 and something to 1. This is crazy. But I don't think you're far off here, and I think this is well worth $1 or a pound. And just to reiterate, guys, betting in the dark with Mr. Tom, we do request Tom to give us crazy odds. So he's not going on something that will happen. So please bet at your own risk, or better yet, don't bet and just send us the $1. There you go.
You really
Please,
should just
send
send
us
the
the
dollar in
$1.
here. Yeah.
Yeah.
If one of these did win, and then you did send them the $1, they ain't obliged to give you back the 60. So
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
We just got the nicest comment Mo Master has ever said on our show. If I saw Mark or Lolo, I might ask for a picture. I didn't with Ruud van Nistelrooy, but I would ask you.
that's amazing.
Thank you, Mo Master. That
There you
is
go, Mo
absolutely awesome, and it's just the cherry on my Sunday of a weekend.
You've made it.
Including
Guess what?
Thanksgiving.
You've made it. You've made it.
And,
And,
no. Actually, I made it when we were at. I felt I made it when we were at Ellen Road, and we had those old ladies from across the room shout and point and go, "You're the boys from Brooklyn." That to me was when I felt, and the kids that walked up to us. If you guys are watching, that
Go to
was
bed.
like, yeah, exactly.
I've had old ladies point at me. I've had old ladies point at me. It's usually followed by the words "officer." That's the guy.
That's him.
Pull up.
That's him.
I thought it followed with "pull up your trousers."
Oh,
I will only point out on this bet, if you want to make a modification, that Erling Haaland's most of his hat tricks do come at home. So, take that 2 or more goals and just stretch it out to a hat trick. You'll watch that You watch those odds jump up a little bit.
Oh, the hat-trick is astronomical. But I thought I'd play slightly more conservative, like leave room for like a Rodri or Alvarez or whoever to like at least get one of them potentially. But
yeah, I think I might modify this to Erling first goal, Erling last goal, and both teams to score. And I think
they
that'll
won't let me do last goal anymore since we took the house with Eddie. Or as I would be throwing them in.
I wonder
Yeah.
what that
Since
does.
we got Mark and Gary some money, the bookies have basically been, no, Mr. Tom, we're not going to let you do that anymore. So they've made it a lot harder for me.
All right.
Genuinely.
Well, let's go to the next one.
Right. Going for the same more. Going for, exactly. I like how the bite in the turkey leg is as big as Lolo's head. Anyway, Arsenal are going to win 2-1. But I think Brentford may take the home advantage and score first. It's either going to be Mbeumo or Visser. But obviously I just went with the one that's actually a striker. But Saka will score one of the 2 goals. Because of course he will. Because he always plays football. So, as we've been discussing for the last hour. So, but still, like £170 odd pound. Delicious. Think of all the turkeys you could buy with that.
A lot of turkeys. More than the leg that Lolo is enjoying.
Yeah, I like this. I have Arsenal winning 2-1 as well. Brentford are always tough at home. They're tough against us at home. We should have beat them last year when we played them at home, but they forgot to draw the lines. Fucking nonsense on that one. But no Ivan Toney. But Mbeumo's in good form. Wisa is in good form as well. And Brentford are a tough team, and they're always better at home. Jimmy's got a shout there, 1-0. Quite possible. Brentford are tough at home. Very tough at home. So, Gary, what are your thoughts on this?
For me, I had a 2-goal lead for us. So 2-0 is what I actually had. I think our back six defensively is pretty strong, especially if Tomiyasu plays. So unless we make mistakes, which we've been not doing so much lately, I think a clean sheet on the road is something that we've done a lot of. So I had 2-0, so I don't have us making that mistake, giving up a goal. And for me, I'm hoping to see a pretty strong attack. So Trossard and Jesus start for me, along with our wings. That's how I have it going. So we get the win, we let these guys rest, and then we go get ready for Champions League in the midweek. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I have it a little bit different. That's a mindset I have for it. I think Trossard deserves a start based on how he came into the international break, what he did in the international break, and so why not keep it rolling?
Yeah, I think this is a very solid bet.
Yeah.
Not saying it comes through, because obviously that's why it's 171-1 or 171.5. But if you're gonna shoot the moon, this is actually, I like this. If I was to modify it, which I don't really want to, but I might switch Mbeumo and Saka. Saka to score first and then Mbeumo to score. But I think that will probably drop the odds a little bit.
That's why I never
went because you have first scorer and anytime scorer, I mean, you're just switching, I don't know what the difference would be, but I'm sure Mr. Tom does. But this is a solid bet.
2-0 was a fair shout from Gary, but obviously the main reason I wouldn't have gone with that is obviously because you get the bigger odds with the Brentford player scoring. So, obviously, for the sake of having a larger number, I didn't want to make loads of like £50 ones or whatever, like the Man City one. But as we've discovered, Man City doesn't provide good value in general. And I try to pick the to pick the specific slots on a weekly basis. Don't know if anyone noticed that, but
yeah. But definitely, I mean, how will Ramsdale do? Is he keeping that clean sheet?
I think it's. I don't think it's been just him. I think the two giants in front of him, the twin towers in front of him, and Rice in front of him. I think
Ramsdale hasn't played in 2 months.
Well, we know we've actually sat and watched a match where Rhea could have just left. Just left, went and got a beer, sat in the crowd, did some
done his laundry,
commentary, came back, and could have just gone back again because we've been pretty, hopefully, we haven't lost that edge to us. But yeah, I think Ramsdale, at least he has to, take what his dad said and basically show up why he needs to be playing football. So he's got, and the only problem is that's just pressure, and I don't know if we'll see how he does under that kind of a pressure, which is more media pressure than actually whether his football's good. But we'll see. We shall see. He should make it easy. I think he should make it difficult for Arteta, but he might make it easy for Arteta. You know what I mean? So we'll see. We shall see.
I think it was mental what he said on that podcast in front of Ian Wright. I felt bad for Ian. I felt embarrassed for Ian Wright that he had to sit there without and fight back the urge to punch him, because I don't know how you can sit there when you are a current starting goalkeeper, or you was a current starting goalkeeper. I mean, he's not now, partly because of what he said, in my opinion. You can't sit there or you are a current professional footballer and you're the goalkeeper and say that there are spells in the game where you're not paying attention. You just can't do that. That's the sort of thing you admit after your career's over and you bring out a book, because then it don't matter. And people go, oh, I admire him speaking the truth. Yeah, I admire people to speak the truth, but sometimes the truth is stupid and exposes your stupidity.
So you do know what a book is.
That's what you got out of this.
Moving on.
That's a layered joke, Gary, for people that were here from the start.
It works no matter what time of day it is and what part of the show.
All right.
Let's get the last one in there.
Okay. So what we've gone here is basically Everton, the whole league are against them. The system. They're going to buck the system by beating Manchester United tomorrow. Basically. They're going to beat them.
I know that upsets you, right?
I don't want them to win tomorrow, but it's got them beating Manchester United written all over it. And yeah, I don't particularly want Manchester United to win, but under the rules of association football, I can't get my actual thing that I want, which is both teams to be wiped off the face of the earth. So one of them has to get something, or they're both unhappy, or whatever. But so for betting purposes, we're going to go Everton are going to win. Calvert-Lewin's going to score first. Bruno's probably going to get a penalty or whatever. I try not to think about Bruno too much, but because he's a prick. But that's what's going to happen. And Dyche is going to be all like, yeah, I just got the lads to work hard. Yeah.
Well, they are a good team, but we were definitely better. We were the better team today. Yes. Now, anyone who join me at the pub?
I told them they want to take 10 points off of us, those cunts. We're going to take them back from the fucking big fucking six. Let's go.
Fuck them.
Fucking bastards. He's going to be out wearing his white button-down shirt, no jacket, in a snowstorm. Yeah, I like this. I like this bet. I could see a penalty going to against Everton later in the game after Everton were up 1-0. They tie it up, and then they find a way to score to win that. But I could see this as a draw as well.
A draw's a sensible pick as well, to be fair.
I want chaos, so I want them to. I like the upside down crust or whatever they call that thing, and then I want them to have meltdown.
I like. Interesting stat might be when Leeds were docked 15 points at the start of the 2007-2008 season, Leeds responded by winning those 5 first games to the point where our fans were chanting, "We've got no points." We've got no points. And it felt amazing. But again, like, so I think, like, it's amazing what a bit of back against the wall can make you achieve. And I basically think it's got Everton they're going to beat Wintermore all over it. I don't want that to happen. I actually want them to, like, be mushed into the ground by everybody. Not necessarily Man United, but actually that does count as everybody.
Yeah. That's all right. So there was betting in the dark for us. So if you guys like those, go ahead and place those bets. But we don't recommend that you actually place any of those bets. But if you do, let us know about it and show Mr. Tom some love for making you a little bit of cash. But if you lose, we don't want to hear about it because we know. We know.
Follow along. Don't tweet me about them, all right? I have no interest in discussing them outside of this show with people, all right? Don't follow me on Twitter.
Yeah. Okay, so a quick side note, because I'm reading a lot in the comments section here, because what we were talking about was so interesting that a lot of the people in the comments section were talking about albums that they picked up on cassette, a copy of Like a Virgin, Appetite for Destruction, or Destructin', and Straight Outta Compton, spelled wrong. So I'm assuming all of these were bootleg because all the titles are just a little wrong. But
he said a cassette copy. Maybe he meant
what's
8
wrong
track.
with Straight Outta Compton? I mean, I think that's correct.
Is that correct? Okay,
that is correct.
That's how you spell Compton.
Well, I don't know. I don't actually spell. But that got me thinking, do you guys remember in 1991 all of these albums came out within 41 days of each other?
Yeah.
That's the Metallica, what is that? The Black Album. Pearl Jam 10, Guns N' Roses, Use Your Illusion 1 and 2, which was fucking phenomenal. Red Hot Chili Peppers, Blood Sugar Sex Magic, Soundgarden, Bad Motorfinger, and Nirvana Nevermind. Out of these ones, guys, which one would you say was most influential to you, or you think is the best, or which one gives you the tingles? Mark?
I never got into Pearl Jam. Metallica's best work was Behind Them.
That was their first album.
No.
Second album?
What's that?
15th album?
No, that was
the Black Album.
I actually have a musician here.
Was like
I never got into Metallica
album.
that much.
I mean, Kill Them All was, I think, their first, or close damn to it. Maybe Master of Puppets, but I think Kill Them All was first.
Master of Puppets.
MC Hammer.
Pearl Jam never did it for me. Guns N' Roses, I think they peaked early. Blood Sugar Sex Magic. I was a fan of the Chili Peppers until they got signed to Warner's, and one of the things that I learned when that happened was the first thing that Warner Brothers did to Anthony Kiedis was they gave him singing lessons, and I really felt that kind of ruined his voice. Soundgarden, man, this album was awesome. And Nirvana, like, man, at the time they were so overhyped, but damn, that was a good record.
It stands the test of time. It's still a good album.
Yeah, absolutely. It's tough to pick from there, because I would say album wise, to me, 10 or Blood Sugar Sex Magic were the best album, full on album. Now, if you do Guns N' Roses, Use Your Illusion 1 and 2 as a single album, then maybe, but that's however, the most mind-blowing songs came from Soundgarden for me. It's just that the album as a whole, I didn't get into it as much, as opposed to Pearl Jam. That's like a book, to bring it back to books again. that whole album was like it tells a story. It's fucking incredible writing, incredible singing. The songs are super deep, but Soundgarden brought this different sound. Like, how can you be grunge, alternative, but sound so different than all the rest of these? So,
Right.
And never mind, you can't hate on that, but I don't know. It gets a bit repetitive for me. Nirvana was a bit more one-dimensional for me, as opposed to Soundgarden. So,
but that album marked just crossing over from hard rock, glam rock.
Which album?
Heavy metal.
Which album?
Nirvana's Nevermind.
Yeah,
it's a historic album just for that. It's just
absolutely
marked that time where
Yeah, no, for sure. I totally agree with you there. But just for me, like when you look back upon it, it was just like that was all everyone talked about. It was like, oh, the year punk broke, and all of it was just like hammered into you. You know, Nirvana's recreating music. Nirvana's doing this. Nirvana's breaking the mold, and it just got kind of like super weary that that there were a lot of other bands that kind of did the same thing, but they didn't have the people behind them. You know,
you guys are all full of crap. The number one album
in 1991 was Crossfade. There's our very own John Lawler there.
They were babies in 91.
When did that album come out? Was that 91? It probably was.
No, it so wasn't.
Did it ever come out?
You have it. You have the album. So,
did they ever?
One of the only 10 copies ever made.
Did any of them ever come out?
Of the Closet?
Yeah, you said that, not me.
John's still there.
John, if you're watching, I got nothing to do with that.
John is still there with all of his hair gel in his closet. All right, so we could take that down. That was a nice little break on music there. All right, guys.
I don't know any of that stuff.
You don't know any of those, Gary? What was your favorite album from 91?
Oh, I don't remember music that well, or I can pick a particular year. But no, I was looking at it. Is that Nirvana the one with the baby and his wee showing? Is that that album?
Oh, no, that's not how I would have described them.
You wouldn't have described
it
like
Nevermind
that?
was the baby. Yeah.
No, I would have. No, actually, I can't do what I was going to do. It's too offensive.
Okay.
Even for me.
Is that the Red Hot Chili Peppers? I just remember them from Point Break. They got beat up.
Yeah, he played one of the baddies, and he's so tiny. He's so tiny. No, Anthony Kiedis.
Music when I was 7.
Yeah.
But 91 was a really good year for music, you know. 91 or 91. 91 was a
Octung Baby came out too with you too.
Octung Baby came out.
Yeah. 91 was a crazy year. It's just those albums all came out within like a month of each other, which is
Out of Time, REM. Wow.
I was in college, so that meant a lot of drinking.
Two Apocalypse came out.
Two Apocalypse.
Drinking. So.
Not Two Apocalypse.
Whatever. Two Apocalypse.
Pocket full of
NWA. Their record came out.
Yeah, I did like. Was it? You said Favorite Black Planet came out from Public Enemy. I like that album. So.
And let's not forget the Ghetto Boys.
The Ghetto Boys, yes. Mine's playing tricks on me.
Yeah, Cypress Hill. Cypress Hill, you're right. Cypress Hill. Great album.
We Can't Be Stopped came out that year.
Yeah. You know, there's no time. After all those songs you guys are talking about, it's not like that anymore.
Well, you know what, Gary? Back then, it was very much like television, which we'll never get anymore because of the internet. But television, even shitty shows, if we're of a certain age, we all remember those shows because you didn't have a choice. If it was on, that's what you were watching, and if you missed it, you fucking missed it.
Yep.
And with albums, do you remember it was like Tuesdays or something that new albums would drop on Tuesdays, new films would drop on Fridays or Thursdays. but it got to be like, oh, it's Tuesday. We got to go to the record store after school to see what's coming. Oh, I heard Wu-Tang's coming out. Oh, I heard this is coming out. And it was more of an event where
you're so right.
And you bought the album because that was your option. Maybe they had a single, but you might as well just buy the album and you listen to the whole album the next day at school, trying to like recite as many of the words as you can, the lyrics as you can, to show that no, I bought the album. So
yeah, I worked in a record store during those years, and Tuesday was all hands on deck.
It's Johnny Cash.
Without a doubt.
Oh, yeah.
American Johnny
Can
Cash
I
did
reveal
have a
what
record.
my first album
American
was?
something or other.
It's genuinely true. I spent I think it was my 11th, because I got a PlayStation for Christmas, PlayStation 1, and I discovered obviously you could play CDs on it. I didn't have a CD player, so I used some birthday money. I swear this is true. And I went to the record store. I think it was Woolworths in England, because they sold CDs back at that time. And I bought the Smurfs Christmas album.
How's that holding up?
I've probably still got it.
God bless you, man. God bless you.
Yeah, exactly. Give the extra.
No, man. Some of that shit is the funnest stuff to listen to, because you only hear it until you put it on. I mean, that's the only time you hear
Chipmunks. Then, if you're gonna go down that route, just get the Chipmunks. Man.
I mean,
they had quality stuff.
I'll be back. I'm gonna look for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
My first cassette that I bought with my own money was a hair band by the name of Winger.
She's only 17.
Yeah.
She's only 17.
Yeah.
Which is fucking like illegal these days.
And Winger was like the hair band of hair bands. I mean, by volume, they teased it up, I tell you.
Me and Omi were in that band.
That's what happened to me. The 80s metal.
The no hair bands.
The Neo Geo BX. Wow. The Neo Geo. Wow. The first CD I bought was Dookie. Green Day. Dookie.
Man,
great album. Incredible album.
I don't even know. I had.
All right. We're almost done with the show, guys. Maybe we should talk about football predictions.
Record like the mixes that they would have on Friday night.
Yeah.
I live down south in Miami, and so on Friday night is when they had the mix going. So you just try to record it because you're like, yes, you get all the good music.
And as soon as a song was about to start, you start recording, and then you're like, fuck, nope, stop, rewind a little bit, boom, wait for the next one.
Yep.
Record.
Oh, absolutely.
Nope, fuck that song. Nope, go back. And then the next day, rocking your mixtape. Boom, boom.
Oh, look, he's got it.
There it is. He's got it on
CD Christmas album, people.
Even.
Oh,
damn, son.
It's a real thing.
It's the thing. Like all of us have like cassette tapes. I don't have a cassette player anymore. I still got cassette tapes in my basement.
Oh, I got them too. I got the Earth Song.
I actually wish I had like the full complement of like record player, CD player, tape player, because I firmly believe that like with all these streaming services that we rely on now, like a lot of really cool music is no longer available in the streaming format. You know, like I have a Beck record. You know, and Beck is a very prominent star in the music industry. But I have a Beck record called, I believe it's called Sonic Soul Manure. And you cannot get that.
What the world is that?
I have no idea. You can't get that. You can't listen to that on Spotify. And it is an amazing record, one that he put together and was refused by his label.
What?
because it just wasn't what they wanted. It wasn't loser. It wasn't all that bullshit. And so he put it out on like a friend's label, and he was like, "Here, you can take this. It won't go. I don't have to give it to DCG or DGC." But I let's talk football. Fuck this rock and roll shit, because I can go on and on forever about 90s music. And
maybe you guys will have to join us in the after party. We'll talk more music. I'll show you some of my more awesome cassette tapes that we find on the street, like the Shoji Tabuchi show. If you haven't seen it, buy a VCR and I'll send you this.
Buy VCR for
no, we
like
$1,000. If you want to pay $50 in
have a
shipping, we will send it to you.
I don't have a VCR, so I don't know what these are.
I'm going to look on Amazon to see how much a VCR costs these days.
All right, John, can we pop up the Premier League schedule?
$27.99 apparently.
All right, fellas, let's get to it. We got Man City, Liverpool, bright and early for us at 7:30 in the morning. I know I'll be up watching that, depending if Omi drags me out to the bar or drags me over to Director John's house. But our after show does not suck, Mo Master. Bad connection. Your connection sucks. Ours is.
It does a little bit.
Mo Master,
we had 10 people on last week.
You're coming in from your car.
I know it's from his car, from the closet, from the basement. Like no, you can't even see him most of the time.
Exactly.
All right, fellas, let's hear it. Who do you? Whoa, this is a tiny. I was changing the look of this. Where are we?
Liverpool gonna win 3-1 mysteriously.
All right, let's go. Man City, Liverpool. Mark, what do you think?
We've learned something this year about City. We've always, the excuse has always been for a City loss is that they play, they're slow. They're slow.
Me full screen with my finger in my ear.
They are slow to start the season. I don't think that's the case this year. I think City has proven to have the ability to be got. And Liverpool is a team that is not playing a lot of extra games this season for the first time in a few years. I know Liverpool's away and Holland plays like a monster at home, but I'm going with Liverpool on this one. And I'm gonna go 2-1. Yeah, Omi, I said it.
Okay, Tom. Oh, I know we got your picks in your picks, but now you can be a bit more, whatever the word is.
I actually think it'll be a 2-2 draw.
Desmond.
Yep, full Desmond. Yeah.
All right, I like that. A draw for me is great, awesome. I don't want either of those teams taking 3 points. Gary?
Yeah, I'm with you. I want to draw as well, but it's coming back from international break, so teams come back a little slow, and I think it's going to be a draw. I think it's going to be a draw. It should be a good game. I'm thinking high scoring, and once again they're going to go 3-3, do something crazy. It also Liverpool hates playing at this time. They seem to be always getting this time at least. And they always seem to win, but I don't think they're going to win at Emirates. So they'll come close to get a point. And did I say Emirates? Oh yeah,
you did, you fucking bastard.
Etihad, sorry.
It's the other Arab country.
So I get them all confused. It's so many now.
Airline.
No, I'm thinking it. I'm hoping for it's early, so lots of scoring, a draw, and they're going to watch each other out. I think. We've shown that that's how the game will be played. If we play tight like that, it'll be a tight game. But I think coming back from the break, they're going to be open. They're going to open each other up a little bit. Liverpool, I think, might have some people say they might have the front. So we'll see about that.
Yeah, BX has a point here. Salah, Diaz, and Nunez all balled out on international break, and they're in fine form. They absolutely are, and I think Liverpool are coming in with some confidence of like, yo, we can go. We're back. We're back. We're back where we are your main rivals, and they want to prove that they are Man City's main rivals, not Arsenal. Arsenal can deal with the rest of them, but if we're talking first and second place, Man City, Liverpool, this is where Liverpool want to bring themselves back into the conversation, and beating Man City at home is a huge thing because we all know it is tough to go to Anfield and win. So if you can beat them at their home, you gotta know there's a possibility of doing the double once you get them back to Anfield. So it's going to be huge here. But Gary, you bring up a good point. When Arsenal played City, it was a very tight game. No mistakes could be allowed by either team. So for a lot of people that are not fans of those teams, most boring match ever. For us, any City fan or Arsenal fan, we're like, that was a tactical fucking battle. And yes, it took a somewhat fluky goal to decide, but it could have gone either way. And then they go play Chelsea and they decide just fuck it, let's just go wide open, and it's a 4-4 stunner. So which Man City shows up? How are they feeling? And is Erling Haaland fit? Of fucking course he is.
Yeah,
because he just pulls this bullshit of not going to international duty, and now Norway will not go to the Euros. And you know what? If you need a reason why he's not going to get the Ballon d'Or, it's because he's only focused on his career, and it doesn't care his club career, and doesn't care enough to help his actual country, who has a not terrible team. You got Martin Odegaard on the team. You got who is it, like not El Nayusi or somebody like that. But you have the best striker in the world, and he can't even play those fucking matches. So, like, come on. And then all of a sudden he's fine. It's an ankle injury, but all of a sudden he's fine for the first match of the day against Liverpool. So I think that's all fucking bullshit. Meanwhile,
you're right about the Ballon d'Or. It's hard to look at a player who's not there for their team in international play, and you would think the best striker in the world would be able to get their team qualifying for these events, not even qualifying for them sometimes, right? So there you go.
Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna go with I really want to draw here, but I think it's gonna be 2-1 City. Sorry. I have to, and that's who I have to put money on because I always lose my bets. So I always bet for City to win, and those are the only ones where I make any sort of money. Yeah, I'll take another one. All right, guys. Burnley, West Ham.
I'll kick this off. Burnley's terrible. West Ham can't keep a clean sheet. I'm going to go 4-1 West Ham.
Hello?
That's all I got.
Oh, I thought Mr. Tom was next.
Oh, sorry.
I find it troubling that they're shipping so many goals, considering they bought supposedly the best goalkeeper, the best young goalkeeper around. It has big Melier vibes to it. Like, I don't know. I maybe I have controversial opinions on goalkeeping. I don't know, but I just find that a truly elite goalkeeper is the one that can make a save when they've had nothing to do for a long time. And certain goalkeepers are not that. This not digging out Melier again, but he did concede his first shot on target tonight. 45th minute. Anyway, sorry. More on that on Sunday night. I think West Ham are going to win this. I think it will be a lot tighter.
Oh, it's cold.
I think they'll win it 2-1 West Ham.
Yeah, I think Burnley will feel like they get a little bit of hope in this one, but I think they're still gonna lose it is it 2-4 at home? But they're gonna keep their crowd in it for a bit, but they won't be able to hold on, and West Ham will just run away with it at some point. 4-2 to West Ham.
4-2.
Yeah.
Wow. I don't have the faith in West Ham that you guys seem to have. I feel like West Ham is another team similar to Wolves that plays up and unfortunately plays down as well. And if Burnley can keep it a compact game and keep it on corners and if they sit back and sit back with a sort of low block, West Ham have proven that they don't know what to do when you're given the ball. So I think Burnley can take this 1-0. 1-0 or a 0-0 draw, but 1-0 low scoring. I would take under 2 goals if I was betting on this.
Lolo, I'm not going to take offense, but when you
it's like the third time I've said it.
When you make that statement saying that like Wolves play up, which we obviously do. I mean, our resume says so. But like to say, well, but you don't play down irks me because the down teams are the teams that we've had some of the worst calls against. We had the like bullshit handball against Luton, the bullshit penalty against Sheffield United. So let's just tone it down a little bit on my Wolves. Because,
no, Mark, sorry.
They've had a rough
I'm in agreement. I know
you're on,
but you guys get terrible calls against you, no matter who you play. So
this is also true.
And somehow you found a way to beat City, to draw with Villa, draw with Newcastle. You beat who else did you beat? Chelsea or somebody?
We haven't played. I don't think we've played Chelsea yet.
You should have drawn with Man United. Yeah.
Yeah, we
you
should
get
have
terrible calls
Newcastle.
Against everyone.
Yeah, we get terrible calls against. Anyway,
Luton Town Palace, Mark.
I think Luton Town is beginning to believe in themselves, and Crystal Palace, if I'm not mistaken, is suffering from. Actually, I think they're getting healthy. Man, this is at home. That crowd, even though it's small, is super passionate. I'm giving this one. I'm gonna go a draw. I'm gonna go 1-1 on this.
All right, Tom.
Similar to Mark, I don't think Luton are the better of the 3 promoted teams so far. And although the points won't show that, I think it's in performances, it's by quite a large margin that they are the better of the 3 teams. They are, they're roughly all together, but Luton have generally put on better performances than the other 2. People are free to say that I'm wrong, but they'll find that they're wrong. But I actually think Luton are going to win this. They'll probably etch out a 1-0 win.
Ooh. I don't know, Gary. What do you think?
I think, if I recall, I don't remember the game specifically, but their previous game before the international break against Manchester United, I think they had a chance to get something out of that game, if I recall. I don't know if it was it was just a late mistake. I can't remember how that game ended, but I believe they played pretty well in that game.
It was 1-0 United. Lindelof got a goal in the 59th. But they were in it. They were definitely in it.
I think they were in the game. So I'm thinking they're going to draw on some of that, and I can see them getting the win. 1-0. I think they'll get the win. I mean, I actually probably have 2-1 more that they get the win, but 2-1 probably is what I'm going to go with. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going 2-0 Palace. Sorry, y'all. I think Palace will start to show their Palace are a decent squad. They've been riddled with injuries and underperforming, but This has nothing to do with the fact that I picked up their keeper in my fantasy league, nor that I have Joaquin Anderson on my team. But I think a clean sheet is necessary for me to do better in FPL. Yeah, clean sheet, Otton Edward with a brace. Willie Zaha. Yeah, not on braces, on a brace. 2-0. All right. Okay, Newcastle Chelsea, probably one of the more entertaining, at least looking ahead at it, matches. That's at Newcastle. What do we think here, fellas?
I don't necessarily think this is going. I wouldn't say interesting. I wouldn't say intriguing. But it's a game to watch because, I mean, it's Newcastle, it's Chelsea. These are two teams that we don't know who they are.
I wouldn't say interesting. I wouldn't say entertaining. I wouldn't say football, but it is definitely something on television.
Exactly. Who is who out there? Newcastle, tons of injuries. Chelsea, tons of injuries. Not as good as we had hoped for both teams. I mean, they're very, very similar. I'm going to Desmond.
I think Mo Masters got it right here. This is going to be one of these like, oh, everybody, here's the game of the weekend, and 0-0 bore fest.
I agree.
Yeah,
sure.
Right,
That's what I was leaning towards.
Sure,
it's
why
got
not?
Liverpool, Chelsea written all over it.
That's football, Mark. That's just football. Like you can
That's
build it
football.
up. Yeah, you can build it up. It'll have all the ingredients of an amazing contest, and they'll just cancel each other out, and defense will be king on the day. Goalless. Not true that
Right,
no
Gary?
one will watch, though. In England, no one will watch, apart from the people there, because they can't.
Well, it's the
But
10 o'clock game, so there's
It's-
3 other
it's-
matches
it's-
playing.
it is the game I'm
4 other
watching.
matches.
I will watch this game.
Yeah, well, I think Newcastle will want to redeem themselves from the last time they played some football. When you lose to Bournemouth 2-0, you probably need to respond to that. And
They
then,
should be expelled from the league for that, Gary.
yes. And then when Chelsea, you know, they've been having it, you know, the way they've played. So I think it'll be two teams, one trying to redeem itself, one trying to hold on. As you say, I can see a draw as well. You know, I would see 2-2 though. I think it'll be 2-2. I know that sounds probably a little bit high for this game, but I think 2-2.
My
But
master
All
used
right.
my line.
Forest Brighton. This one has Brighton winning it all over it. However, Nottingham Forest are way better at home than they are away, and they've been figuring out some ways to do some stuff. And you know, they're not that they're way up there in the table, but they're in the thick of it. They're in the thick of the mid-table, and Brighton are one of these teams that like can beat a team 5-0 and then can lose to a not as good team the next week. So I think I'm going to take this at 2-1 Forest.
I don't think Forest is as invincible at home as they were last year. While we don't know who Brighton is, I think Brighton takes this, and both teams got a bunch of injuries, but in De Zerbi, I trust, and I'm going 2-0 on this one with Evan Ferguson scoring first.
Yeah, they got no Matoma this week either, but they're fine. They're fine.
Wow.
All right, Tom, Gary.
I can see. I've got a vision.
Uh-oh.
It's 1-1. It's going to be 1-1. Nottingham Forest, good at home, but as Mark said, not looking as strong at home this season. But that's mainly because they don't have to be, because the spectre of relegation is the least it would have ever been in the Premier League.
It is looming right now.
Yeah, but no one's been sacked yet, other than your manager leaving before the season started. And
He
part of
was
the reason-
sacked. Come on.
Yeah, but part of the reason for that is because no one truly fears relegation because of the 3 that came up are not as strong, and it's obvious. Despite what I just said about Luton being the better of the 3, generally speaking, no one's pulling the trick. Like this time last year, there was probably 5 managers gone. I don't know if that's fact, but it feels like it could have been. Whereas everyone's really going, we'll probably have enough to get over the line.
Yeah, seriously, Tom, you're right. They've not been having a great season, and they're 8 points clear of the relegation line. Like that's a huge, huge jump.
Exactly, and that, like I said, they've not had to be invincible at home to achieve that either. So, but also Brighton, I'd expect a more positive result from Brighton because they're not as good when they've played the European game and then they're coming off of that. So I expect them to be better going into it, but I still think this is going to be a draw. 1-1.
All right.
Yeah, I'm going to call this the 80% game. There's an 80% chance that Brighton probably won't get the call that they need to get the win, if you know what I mean. So Nottingham Forest will be home, and 80% of the officials, there's a good chance at least 2 of them will be in this game. So I don't think, I mean, they might be quiet about it. They might not take it personal, but they probably will take it personal because that's what they do. But I just think, just both teams, I think, what is it? They just drew to Sheffield United. So Brighton isn't coming off of a good break and nothing to build on from there. So, yeah, I'm going with a draw as well. I do like 0-0, 0-0, zilch, 0-0.
0-0.
0-0. Yes, we forgot about the all famous 0-0. So yeah,
sometimes it's boring because sometimes it's all for naught.
Well, El Crapico is next with Sheffield United, Bournemouth. Anybody have anything interesting to say about this?
Do they play football?
Yeah.
Who cares?
Moving on.
Terrible match to watch.
Brentford Arsenal. Brentford at home. As we said, David Raya is on loan from Brentford. He cannot play against his parent club, so that means Ramsdale is in sticks unless Mikel Arteta is like, all right, Carl Hein, go get you some. But I don't think that's going to be the case. What are our thoughts here, guys?
West Brom to win.
I might say that where we talked about Nottingham Forest being tough at home, Brentford is tough at home and have been consistently tough at home. They always find a way for their crowd. But in this case, I think Arsenal has too much firepower. I'm going 3-1 Arsenal.
All right. I'll take it.
Damn right you will.
Anybody got anything contrary?
No, I have a 2-goal win for Arsenal. 0-2. Arsenal wins. They get one of their famous clean sheets on the road. I just think our back line will be ready to go. I mean, you got Rice in front of the back line, and Tomiyasu, I believe, will hopefully start in that left back role, and then Ramsdale hopefully he'll have a clean jersey, so he won't have to do much work. So, and otherwise we should be able to get the 2 goals we need. So, there you go.
Yeah,
I do want Trossard to start. I do want Jesus to start. So, I think we should be able to go offensive in this game a little bit, and no need to see, as some people are calling him now. I actually like it. Number 29 doesn't need to start this one. So there you go.
All right. Let's go Tottenham, Aston Villa. This is a 4th place battle for sure because I have Aston Villa finishing the season in 4th place. And right now they're 4th and 5th. So I wasn't too far off right there. I think Villa can take this, but I'm going to say 2-2. Desmond.
I want 3 losses in a row for that team. So they're on a 2-game losing streak right now. How about 3? Yeah,
but I wouldn't mind calming Unai Emery down a little bit,
especially at home. I get that, but I just don't want to see them lose 3 in a row. I think it's a good time for that. Just before before things maybe start turning around in terms of them figuring out how to play and maybe players coming back from suspensions, right? I think they'll have a player back from suspension, I think, right?
Udogie.
Romero should be back. No, is it Romero should be back soon, right?
No, Romero is on a 3-game suspension. It's Udogie that
How many games has he
back.
missed? Has he missed?
Just one.
Oh, just the one. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, Udogie comes back, so that he's been pretty good for them. So their defense should get a little bit better. But it's gonna take them a little while, I think, to get over this. This has been a big smack in the face for them to think things out. So, and I think Villa's been playing good. So yeah, 3 in a row. I know that gives Villa a little bit of a run here, but yeah. There you go. That team sucks.
I'm going to say that both teams are ridiculously hurt. Missing key players. I think the players missing for Tottenham are more key than the players missing for Villa, because I think for Spurs, their players who have been injured have been more recently, and Van de Veer, he's the equivalent to Saliba for Spurs this year. You know, for what Saliba was last year. I think Villa squeaks this out. I think I'm going 1-0. I think Spurs get shut out at home.
Wow, Van de Ven is Saliba.
Van de Ven, not Van de Veer. Van de Ven.
Wow, that's a big comparison. He has been very good for them. But the biggest one is James Maddison. James Maddison not being there is he was linking so much of their play together and allowing people to be a lot more free. But you're absolutely right. Van de Ven is those two huge misses. And that's what we were saying about Tottenham earlier in the year of like, yo, let them have first place all they want. One injury to somebody like Maddison or Van de Ven, and they're going to go on a slide. They lost both of them. And we've seen them lose 2 games in a row, 3 if you include. Didn't they lose a cup or something? I don't know. I don't care about that team anymore. Moving on. Everton, Man United, hole opening up in the middle of the pitch, and everybody, including the owners and everybody, going in there. Are we all in agreement? Okay.
Yes.
Bane. The Bane. They call it the Bane. The Bane match.
All right, let's get to Mark's team playing all on their lonesome on Monday because you needed extra time off for all of your Portuguese.
It was very strange how Gotham's football stadium looked like Heinz Field, though, didn't it?
Yes, Mr. Tom.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about. I'm just going to address this. First, if y'all don't mind, Fulham does not give up a lot of goals, but they score even less. Wolves could have a little problem. You know, obviously the big injury is Neto, and we're not really going to talk about that. But Craig Dawson out for suspension. Nelson Semedo might have a foot injury. He might not be able to play. And his backup, Doherty, is suffering from a little bit of a hip injury. So that could leave Wolves a little bit thin. But I'm gonna say in Gary Neal, the Wolves trust. He had Bournemouth's trust last year. He's got Wolves trust this year. I'm gonna get crazy. 2-0 Wolves. He-Chan will definitely get a goal as he does. That's number Wang.
That is number Wang. Isn't it Gary O'Neill?
It's Gary O'Neill. Isn't that what I said?
Okay, I thought you said Gary Neal, and I was like, hold on.
No, Gary O'Neill.
Player?
Gary O'Neill. G-O-N. They used to want him
Wolves.
gone, and now he's going to take us to a higher place.
Oh, my God. It's too late in the show to start with that shit, Mark. God damn it. Who Who else has an opinion on Fulham Wolves? I say 1-0 Wolverhampton.
I find it incredible that Fulham have a goal difference of -10 and they're still in absolute no danger of being relegated. It's amazing.
Yeah.
But anyway, do you know Hishan has the highest selling shirt at Wolves?
Yes.
Found it out today.
It's true. It's very, very true. And also, I will point out that you can't find a Wolverhampton shirt in New York. I've been to all the stores.
We can find one in
so
Carroll Gardens.
if anyone in the Black Country wants to send me a shirt, please do. And also, I want to solicit, and I had a few people I've heard say that those away shirts by Leeds are horrendous. I think they're absolutely dope. So if you bought one in a large to extra large and you don't want it anymore, you can send it to the Stoop, and I will proudly wear it. Absolutely.
What, you mean the one with the peacocks?
The one with the feathers is dope.
Yeah, but
it's way better than your third kit.
You see, yeah, but, well, of course it is. I mean, Stevie Wonder could tell you that.
Fucking Flamingo Land.
But, I mean, with the price of a football kit, I don't think anyone's just handing you the current Leeds away kit, Mr. Mark. It's very.
I understand that. I do understand that.
I had to mortgage my house to get the third kit.
And Mark,
you have a house?
Understood you, by the way. He heard whoever lives in a black country, send me a jersey.
I didn't say country. I said county.
Black country. What the
Black county
in the black country?
I searched
that
country.
makes
Nigeria.
I'm like, dude, all right, whatever.
Goodness.
That's where
the black country. It's called the black country, not any black country.
I hear there's a bunch of Southern cops that are looking for the black county.
Wow,
they're coming.
This is all much better fodder for the after party. So if you want to come listen to Mark talk more about that, we will be backstage for a little while, hanging out. Feel free to click on that link and join us there. Gary, Tom, Mark, thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. And don't forget to check out Gary's show tomorrow at some time. He's changing all the time. 10 a.m.
10 a.m. Yes.
That is 3 p.m. in the UK, right?
Correct.
That's exactly right. Yeah. Thank you for that.
All right. And then we also have
Explore Night.
all of Mr. Tom's shows as well.
Yeah, I've got too many. I've got too many to list.
Don't watch it. He said don't watch them.
Okay. Don't watch my content. You're just wasting your time.
All right. So but anyway, thank you guys for joining us. Thank you, Mr. Tom, Gary, Mark, and Director John for all of your help. And thank you, Omi, for hanging out this whole time. Just chilling. Grabbing me beers.
Y'all.
Awesome.
It's been fun.
Have a great weekend. I hope all of your teams lose except for Gary's team, Tom's team, and Mark's team. So the rest of them can all stuff it. Peace out, y'all.